What's going on, world? And welcome to Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. It's the voice and your host, Kareem A. Rashid. And once again, I don't know what you got going on. You could be getting on the toilets, or you could be getting off the toilet. Hell, for all I know, you could be wiping your tushy. But all I know is that I'm ready. And so I hope that you're ready to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. What's going on, my wreckage clearers? What's up? I done walked into the coffee shop. I'm like, yo, barista, you got my drink or what? She's like, I got it, Kareem. I got it for you. Here it is with 5 ice cubes only. I'm like, thank you. You're so awesome. And so I sit down next to you and I'm like, what's going on with you? And you're like, Kareem, I'm really working on this whole thing called rigorous honesty. Last week you talked about it, and I've really been diving deeper into that and trying to be a little bit more honest with myself, trying to live with integrity. But I remember you telling me that this week you wanted to talk about motives, and I've been a little bit afraid to discuss this because I don't necessarily check my motives. And if I'm going to be real with you, Kareem, I don't even really know why I do most of the things that I do. And my response to you is, well, that's most of us as humans, right? We just go about our day, go about our life. And a lot of the things that we're doing is based upon a belief system that we were conditioned to believe when we were younger. Those values, that belief system could have been something that your parents ingrained in you. It could have been, hey, I need you to go to school and graduate, get your diploma, go to college, get your degree in this field. Because if you go into this field, you will be successful and you will be able to live a stress-free life. You'll be able to live a life that's not filled with so much chaos. You'll have the money. You'll have the white picket fence. You'll get married. You'll have the kids. My grandkids will love me. This is what I need you to do because this is what I did. So I'm going to pass this down upon this generation. And then because of that, you do all those things that you were told to do because you believed it. And then you have your kids and you teach them the same thing. And so there's this generational curse that has been going on forever in your family. And you don't even know. You're just doing the same thing that your parents did. And you don't think about it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And that's just an example. You also could be going to work every single day, not even realizing why you are there. Are you there because of the money? Because it is a great paying, high salary job and you make $100,000+ a year and you might as well hold on to this because if you let go of it, you will not be making $100,000 anymore. Do you know what your motivation is for doing what you are doing? Kareem, why are we talking about this? Why is this? What does this have to do with rigorous honesty? What does this have to do with awareness? What does this have to do with anything? Why do I even need to check my motives? Well, Checking your motives is important and vital to personal growth, period. It's important to being just a mature adult. It's really simple stuff. This is not that complex. It's not. It's not that complex. But the thing is, throughout our life, we just become robots. We become zombies. And I know a lot of y'all out there that are walking dead, a lot of y'all that are sleepwalking, a lot of y'all that are plugged in to the Matrix. Yep, give me red pill, blue pill. It doesn't matter what kind of pill it is, as long as it makes me feel better and gets me out of this misery. Yep, give me drug, give me this so I can feel better. Give me alcohol, give me that, give me sex so I can feel better. You know why I know that? You know why I know it's a lot of you out there like that? Because that's how I was. And so from my experience that I decided to do this podcast and share with you, I guarantee, let me say that word correctly. I guarantee there are plenty of us that are still just walking around doing the same thing over and over and over and over again each day. Not questioning why we're doing it, we're just doing it. We have become human doers instead of human beings. Woo! Don't let me start preaching to you up in here now. So checking your motives is important and vital to personal growth because it builds self-awareness. It aligns your actions with your values and it improves your emotional health. Clearing the wreckage is about improving us overall. It is about taking out that garbage, that havoc, that destruction, and it is about improving our mental, our emotional, our spiritual, our relational health. Checking our motives provides deeper insight into the inner workings, into the brain, into the heart, and going inside of that and seeing what's in there. And then we're able to go, oh, you know what? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let me try to clear that. Which then creates a cornerstone for self-awareness because you become more aware. And the only way, once again, folks, to become aware is for you to shut the heck up. Shut up. Be quiet. Be silent. Stop talking so much. This type of honesty is rigorous. Let me tell you, this is practicing rigorous honesty by checking your motives. It is exact and it is accurate and it is real. Hey, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Here is the reason why X, Y, and it's going to equal Z. And that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Have you asked yourself, why am I doing this? Have you asked yourself, why am I about to do this? What about, why am I saying yes to this person? That's a good one. That is a good one. What about, why am I at this job? Why did I accept this job? Why am I with this person? Ooh. Why am I the way that I am? I wonder if you've even asked yourself that question. Why am I continually doing this? Especially if it's something that you definitely want to quit and you want to stop doing. Have you asked yourself, why do I continually do this? You know, I went for a very long time without asking myself those questions. I went so long, y'all. So long. Until I realized I need to get in the business of clearing the wreckage. I need to get in the business of personal growth. I need to get in the business of growing up and becoming a mature adult. Yes. So by asking yourself why you do things, it reveals subconscious needs, fears, and desires that secretly influence your decisions. I'll give you a quick example. An example could be something simple as you pursuing another job, but your motivation is fear of stagnation rather than your genuine interest in that role at this other particular job that you were pursuing. You're pursuing this job because you're tired of being at the same job and you feel that you're stuck and you're going to be there forever if you don't pursue something else. And so you are afraid that you will become stagnant. You know, fear was my underlying motivation for just about every single thing I did. Let me just get real with you. Let me keep it 100 with you. You know, this is what I do on this podcast. This is what I do whenever I have a conversation with you. I practice rigorous honesty, so let's go ahead and practice it. Let me go ahead and share a story with you. There was one time in my life around 2016, actually a year after 2016. Now, you know the whole story. You know part of it. But do you know part of the story where, you know, I had this ex-fiance, right? You know, part of that story, you've been listening. Okay, so this person came back into my life. Well, I brought them back into my life. And what I decided to do, and I mean, this is going to be probably the realest conversation I ever had with y'all. So listen up closely. What I decided to do, this person, and first of all, before I even say anything about this other individual, this is not to defame their character. This is not to discredit their character or anything like that. This person is still very dear to my heart. However, as the story goes, I'm sharing a story with you. So it is not to offend this other person when I'm sharing this. I, out of fear, I know the reason why, because I did the work. I cleared the wreckage. I was practicing rigorous honesty. I was saying, you know what, I need to check my motives. But you know what? For a while, I ain't checked my motives. I decided to marry this individual. Not even a day after she exited out of a facility. And I'm just going to use the term facility. The day after, I did not give this person a chance to, re-enter into society. Nothing. I just said, you know what? This is the day I'm going to marry you, and this is how it's going to be. And that's what I did. And I did it because I love her. I did it because I loved her, I should say, past tense. I do still have love for her. So if you're listening, I do still have love for you. I don't love you in that way. You know what I'm saying anyway. Just laugh at me. You know what I mean. I did love her. But my love was motivated by fear. Do you hear me? My love was motivated by fear. You know what my main fear was? Fear of being alone. You know what my other fear was? Fear that no one would or could ever love me like she could. No one. That drove me to marry her. It was fear. It was insecurity. It was not wanting to be alone. It was also this mirage or dream or this picture that I painted in my head of how marriage should be and how ours would be. That also drove me. There was so much. And it took me a while throughout my marriage to check my motives and practice rigorous honesty and stop and say, why am I doing this? You love her, Kareem. That's why. No, I had to go deeper. I know that I love her. What is the underlying truth about this? What is the underlying motive? Fear. Fear was the underlying motive. And I share that with you because I am here to practice rigorous honesty and I'm here to clear the wreckage, doggone it. So that's what we do. So anyway, enough of that story. And so fear was my underlying motivation for just about every single thing I did. And with that, checking our motives identifies the patterns. And that started to, once I started checking those motives about that, when I was inside that marriage, I started to see patterns throughout my life. I was like, oh my gosh, most of the things that I have been doing is because I was afraid. It's because I was afraid. So by reflecting or practicing this type of rigorous honesty, by checking our motives, by asking questions, why do I do what I do? Then you can begin to recognize that your behavior is typically driven by intrinsic rewards like personal gain, selfish ambition, personal ambition or satisfaction, right? Or you begin to realize that there is some type of extrinsic ones like social approval or money. So you begin to realize that, okay, you know what? My behavior is typically, let's do it in layman's terms, my behavior is typically driven by something inside of me, some type of reward that I want, that I'm going to get for myself, right? Oh, man, this is going to satisfy me. Sex, drugs, alcohol. That was my thing. Oh, and I'll get what I want out of this girl, which was sex, right? Or external ones like the social approval. Oh, man, people will like me if I say yes. Oh, man, if I take this job, I will receive this amount of money. So this type of honesty and awareness helps us find more sustainable and fulfilling sources of drive. This type of rigorous honesty or awareness or checking our motives, asking why we do what we do, also exposes self-deception. Because let me tell you something about your brain. It is full of lies. And I know right there when I said that triggered something for you to go, what? Man, no, it's not. Self-deception. Because check this out. Most of us wear rose-colored glasses to avoid acknowledging uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Me, though, I didn't wear any glasses. I raised the doggone glass. I was like, hey, or a bottle with the quickness because I know. No, I'm not finna acknowledge anything about myself. I'm gonna drink. So that could be my example of those people that are still plugged in to the matrix. Red pill, blue pill, doesn't matter what pill it is, just give me the pill. I did a poem one time called Hands of Power, and that's my beginning statement in there. Give me a pill, just give me a pill, doc. I just need a pill. And you can even see it now. On all the ads, wherever you look now, there is a pill for every single thing. There's a pill or there's some type of injection to keep you not knowing why you're doing what you're doing, not questioning anything. Just be a zombie and just do it. You need this because you don't want to have migraines anymore. Anyway, I'm not finna get into all that. That's a whole nother episode for you. We need to clear the wreckage on that too. It's a lot of wreckage. Anyway, so again, I ain't wear any glasses. I just made sure I rose the glass. I was like, look, man, I'm finna drink. I ain't finna acknowledge none of this crap. So checking our motives kind of forces us to be exact, accurate, real, and honest so that we can overcome self-deception and learn to become our true self while facing our false self. Being able to do shadow work, being able to look at yourself and get the underlying truth, the underlying motivation of why you do things and go, you know what? I don't want to be that type of person. That's not really me. I want to do this because I want to do it. Here's my genuine reason for doing this. Then you become more of your true self, more of your authentic self by continually clearing that wreckage and checking the motives, right? Your motives are also often a reflection of your underlying values, as we just stated, right? Checking them helps you ensure that your actions are aligned with what you believe to be most important, right? So I'll give you an example. Okay, so there was one time when I got invited to a show by a friend of mine, and I was trying to be sober and clean. And now, automatically, I wanted to say, sure, I'll come to your show because I wanted to support him. Why did I want to support him? Did I want to support this person genuinely because I support them and I want to go there and show them love? I wanted to support him because I didn't want to disappoint him. Ooh! Have you ever been there? So I had to check my motives right then and there, and I had to say to this person, you know what? I can't go to that event. One reason why I can't go is because I'm trying to be clean and sober, and there's going to be alcohol surrounding me. So I had to check my motives. I had to realize, okay, if I go there, I'm going to be surrounded by alcohol. Then the other thing I had to realize, I will only be going because I want to keep you happy. Yep. And I tell you what, that motivation right there has been a driving force all my life. I am doing this to keep you happy. What about me? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why are you doing this? Oh, I'm doing it to keep them happy. But what about you? What about your happiness? Huh? What about your happiness? So this type of honesty, this type of rigorous honesty helps you clarify your core values, right? When you're being introspective in this way, now I'm not telling you to overthink. I'm telling you to check your motives and have a little bit of introspection because it helps you to explicitly define what truly matters to you. What is it that matters to you? Have you asked yourself that? Or are you still just doing everything that matters to everyone else? And by analyzing this behavior and decisions, you can see what values you actually prioritize. Not just the ones that you think that you should have because your parents told you. You know? And that happens for a lot of us. I mean, it could be a religion that you grew up in. But you think that you should have this as an adult because your parent impressed this or imposed this belief system upon you. This is the way that I have to be for the rest of my life. Even though I don't want to be a Jew. I don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to be a Muslim. Be who you want to be. Be who you want to be. Right? Live for yourself. Live out your values. Prioritize what you want in life. And I'm not talking about negative wants, Prioritize the good things that you want, the good things that you desire. And having this type of honesty, rigorous honesty, that is, helps guide your decision making. An example, if a career opportunity promises a high, I kind of gave you this example already. If a career opportunity promises a high salary, but it contradicts your values of work-life balance, then you can make a clear, value-driven decision. Well, you know what? Yes, this will pay me more, but this takes so much time away from not only me, but away from my family, away from my kids. So you will make a clearer decision based upon your values, not out of fear of not ever having that opportunity to make that type of money ever again in your life. I got to do this because, money is scarce and we're not going to make it if I don't take this job. We're struggling right now, week to week, in paycheck to paycheck. Man, this job will keep us so secure. And if you do it because of that, then your motives are in the wrong place. Your motives need to be clear and based upon value-driven decisions. I can't do this job as much as I know that this job right here will bring us a sense of security financially. It will take so much time away from my wife and away from my kids and ultimately away from me. And I can't have that because I value myself, I value my wife, I value my kids. So it helps you make clear decisions. It helps guide your decision making in a more efficient or effective way, I should say. So understanding this also aligns your actions with your deepest held values, and it helps you live with greater consistency and integrity, which builds your self-respect. Also, understanding what drives you can help you regulate your emotions and navigate challenges more effectively. Checking your motives reduces those negative emotions. Why? Because motives can be rooted in what? Fear, as I stated already. I know most of mine were rooted in fear, insecurity, or a desire to avoid discomfort. That was me. Is that you? Do you know that, though? You need to check your motives to know that. So checking them can help you address that root cause of the negative emotions like anxiety and resentment. For instance, I drank because I was resentful. I was mad at the world. I was mad at myself. I was mad at this person, that person. I drank. I drank because I was insecure, right? I was in fear. I drank because I did not like the feeling of discomfort. So why are you doing what you are doing today? It is time to get honest with ourselves. And truthfully, it is just simply time to grow up. It's time to grow up. By asking yourself why certain goals are important to you, you gain more clarity on your true values and priorities. Asking yourself, is this important to me? You start to learn, is this goal, when you ask yourself these things, it clarifies your purpose. It defines what a meaningful life means to you, enabling you to align your intentions with your larger purpose. Checking your motives creates better decision-making and intention setting, as I stated to you earlier, right? So with that, it moves you from reaction to intention, right? Regular checking of your motives, checking them regularly, practicing rigorous honesty, as we talked about, helps you recognize fear-based decisions and make healthier and more sustainable choices. It provides focus and direction and moving you from a reactive mindset to a proactive one, and empowers you to make changes. Once you identify a faulty or unhealthy motivation, you can consciously choose to change it. So back to the marriage. Let's go back there. Back to the marriage. I had to consciously make a decision that I don't want to do this, but I know that because my values and my actions are not aligning right now, because my values were out of sorts. They're out of line. Because I know that, yes, I married her because I love her, but I also married her because I was afraid of being alone, because I was afraid that there would never be anybody else on this earth that could love me the way that she could love me, which brought about a very unhealthy relationship, especially on my part, because it was all about me keeping her happy. It was all about me keeping her by my side, because I was afraid that I was going to lose her. I lost her so many times before that. It was my fear of abandonment that came into play. That was my motivation. Once I started to realize that and do some self-examination, become self-aware of that, start checking my motives, practicing rigorous honesty, that is when I came to the clear, concise decision that it is time for me to let go. I also came to a point where I realized by checking my motives that I also was trying to save her. I was trying to save her from her old behavior, from her old life, and give her a new life, and everything will be peaches and cream and roses and strawberries, and we will live happily ever after. It was a fairy tale that I wanted, and I wanted to save her and place her into my fairy tale, into my story. Who are y'all catching this? This is why checking your motives are very important, and it keeps you honest. And once I got to that point, I realized I was in the way of her journey. I was in the way of her recovery. I was in the way of her personal growth and development. Ultimately, what I realized is that I was trying to play God. I was trying to be God. I was trying to be the God in her life and save her, which I have no power to do so over anyone. Once I realized that, it empowered me to make the change that I needed to make. Without this type of understanding, you may repeat destructive patterns without even knowing why. And that was a pattern in my life that I kept repeating. Hold on, y'all. I'm telling you the truth. If I tell you the whole pattern, you know part of the story. It was a pattern. She was a pattern for me. I kept repeating the same thing over and over. Anyway, examining and checking your motives promotes and protects well-being mentally, because when your goals are motivated by pressure to avoid failure, anxiety can increase. If I'm doing something so much because I'm like, oh, I don't want to fail, if I'm staying in this marriage, and that's what was happening, because I actually saw divorce as failure. Woo, boy, I'm getting really real with y'all on this episode. I'm telling you. I saw it as failure because I seen it in my life earlier. So I saw it as failure, and I was like, I'm not going to fail. Woo, my anxiety increased, let me tell you. It surely did. So understanding and reframing these avoidance motives can protect against emotional difficulties. It builds stronger and healthier relationships when you're checking your motives. It is key to building deeper and more honest connections with others. I said this in the other episode. If you can't get honest with yourself, how do you think you're going to be honest with someone else? Somebody please tell me how that works. How does that work? Oh, I could tell you the truth, but I can't tell myself. That it does not work that way. I have to be honest with myself first so that I can be honest with somebody else and so that I can have a healthy relationship with others. But I need to practice rigorous honesty and checking my motives so that I can begin with myself and building a healthy relationship with me. One of the things that it prevents is manipulation. Remember, I told y'all I was very manipulating. Shared this with you in the last episode. So it helped me to examine my selfish and ego-driven motives, right? And a lot of those were ego-driven. A lot of my motivation was ego-driven and based off of fear and based off of what I wanted to gain from the situation, from the person, from the job, whatever. Fill in the blank. Checking and examining your motives, asking yourself why you do what you do, builds trust. All right? By declaring your intent openly, you create a safe and transparent environment for relationships to thrive. This prevents others from having to guess your motives, and it builds trust. I can give you an example of something that happened previously in my life a few years back. I met this girl and I told her off the bat when I met her, I said, hey, I am trying to heal from a relationship. I said I'm going to give myself a whole year to heal from this relationship, to work on myself, and I am not interested in getting into a relationship with anyone. That includes you. I said this to her right off the bat. I wasn't beating around the bush. I wasn't going to say anything or try to smooth talk or charm her in any way so that I can get what I want. I said, nope, this is where I am at, and this is where I stand. Have you been able to do that with somebody lately? Are you able to do that with someone? The only way you're able to do that is by checking and examining your own motives first. You know what? When it came to relationships, when it came to females, I was after one thing. Hold on, now let me start preaching up in here to you. And if you are a man, most likely you're after one thing. Most of us. I'm not putting all of us in that category, but I know for me, I was after one thing, especially when I was out there drinking and using drugs on a regular basis, and I was addicted to it. I wanted to receive my fix, and that is all that I was after. Thank God I'm clearing the wreckage on that, and I've been sober for this amount of time, so now I'm able to think clearly, I'm able to check my motives, I'm able to practice rigorous honesty, and I'm able to go into a relationship stating, I am at this place in my life, and this is what I'm doing, and I do not want a relationship with anyone. I was able to communicate that. So, checking your motives and examining these motives, it improves communications, right? Prime example I just gave you. In difficult conversations like that, you can pause to examine your motives, whether to win or to keep the peace, can help you address the real issue instead of engaging in unhelpful tactics. Another thing, also, would you rather be right or be happy? Would you rather be right or be happy? That is a question that I have to ask myself, and I also need to take accountability of that, and I need to ask myself that more often, because when I'm in a heated argument with someone, I'm not asking myself that question as many times as I need to. I also need to be asking myself questions. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely or tired? We need to watch out for those. That's another conversation or episode that I will have with y'all here in the near future. Practicing rigorous honesty, checking our motives, enhances resilience and persistence. By understanding your why, builds determination that is needed to overcome obstacles and seeing things through. By recognizing your why, this is why I'm doing this, you will continue to do something because your why is a good motivation. If your why is a bad motivation, then you need to check that and you need to probably change your course, right? So checking your motives and examining them and practicing this type of honesty anchors you through the challenges. When you know the core reason for your goal, you are more likely to stay committed. When faced with setbacks, boredom, or fatigue, or failures, right? Helps you manage those failures. Reflecting on your past mistakes and setbacks is an opportunity for learning, not self-criticism, which builds resilience that is needed to try again with a refined strategy, right? So me checking my motives helps me to stay at what I'm doing because my why is in a great place. My motivation is for you. I'm doing this podcast for you. That's my motivation behind this. My motivation in sharing my journey with you and sharing this podcast with you is for you. So it keeps me going. I have to do this because you are important to me. Your personal growth and development is important to me. You clearing the wreckage is important to me. Yes. And of course, my other motivation for doing it is because it helps me to clear the wreckage by sharing my journey with you. So it does also help me when I am being of service, when I am in my purpose of helping others like I am supposed to. It gives me a sense of fulfillment. I am walking in my purpose. I am doing what I am supposed to be doing. So that then fuels my self-motivation because I recognize my own growth and achievements over time, and it builds confidence and creates positive momentum, which further gives me gas, fuels my motivation. So again, I'm going to ask you as this episode ends, why are you doing what you are doing? Ask yourself this. Please journal it. Take some time to look aside so that the wreckage can clear. Ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I with this person? Why do I react a certain way when I see this person? Why do I say certain things about certain people? Why do I like to gossip in the corner of the break room at work? Why do I smoke a joint before I go to work? Why do I smoke a joint on lunch break? Why do I smoke a joint when I get off from work? Why do I smoke a joint before I before I go to bed? Have you asked yourself that? Why am I friends with these people? Why am I friends with this person? Is this person benefiting me in any kind of way? Or is this person giving me something that I feel intrinsically that I need, or I feel extrinsically that I need? Now, I'm sorry, I can't really say that word that great. My bad, y'all. But you know what I mean, right? Am I gaining? Is it a personal gain or satisfaction? Or is it a social approval or something of some sorts, right? Is it based on fear that I won't be liked? That, am I trying to keep these people around because I'm afraid that they will leave me? What is it? Ask yourself those questions. And if you need a list of questions to ask yourself, DM me at Clearing the Wreckage Podcast on Instagram, and I will give you a whole list of questions that you should probably be asking yourself on a daily basis in order to practice this rigorous honesty, in order to check your motives. Checking your motives is part of being rigorously honest. It is, remember, the word rigorous means to be exact, to be accurate. You want to know exactly why you are doing what you're doing, don't you? Or do you just want to keep going throughout your life miserable? Because you are probably doing things out of bad motivation, from fear or from insecurity or from avoiding discomfort. You're probably with the same person you've been with for years because you're afraid that you will be alone. Or you want to keep them happy. And so you're not going to leave them because you're afraid of not only what's going to happen to them, but what's going to happen to you. What's going to happen to you if you actually leave this person? So, truthfully, folks, it is just time to grow up. It's time to grow up. It's time to clear the wreckage. That is what I had to learn within myself. Hey, Kareem, guess what? Hey, man, it's time to grow up. It's time to grow up, dude. It's time to check your motives. It's time to examine why you are doing what are you doing. Why are you with this person? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why did you just say yes to this person? Oh, it's because I want them happy and I want to feel accepted. Oh, well, maybe I need to change that and clear that wreckage. So that's all I got for you today. I love y'all. Thank you so much. I don't know what we're actually going to talk about next week, so I can't tell you. But until then, I want you to take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Peace.